5:17 this Friday morning. Blackfriars Theater ready to close out its 76th season with a very powerful production, the Tony-winning musical Parade. It's the retelling of what happened in Georgia in 1913, the murder of a teen girl, the arrest of Leo Frank, a Jewish factory manager, and what led up to his lynching. Jordan Bachman stars as Frank and Pat McCabe, his defense attorney.
Well, it's interesting because, we're going into it knowing the outcome of the trial and knowing that Luther Rosser's role in it. Learning about him has been interesting. He was a really prominent trial attorney at the time, known as a very fierce cross-examiner. They described him as with a bald snapping turtle monster of a head and things like that, about how forceful he was in the courtroom and things like that. And so trying to portray that, but then also knowing how the story ends for him and his client has been an interesting dichotomy to try to process as an actor. So that's been interesting. But he's an older man than I am, so that's also been interesting. But was a formidable person in the courtroom.
And it's how much of it is music, how much of it is dialogue in this show?
It's pretty music heavy.
Yeah, it's not completely sung through. There are definitely some straight dialogue scenes, but a lot of those scenes are underscored as well. And we've spent a lot of time timing that out with the music to really hit some points home. But I would say it's mostly music. Yeah,
It's always interesting because when you're dealing with a musical and then such a heavy topic of dealing with hatred, wrongfully accused, a legal fight that goes on, and then what happened to him. I'll ask both of you this, and Jordan, I'll start with you.
Sure.
Doing this in this time in 2026, and the audience will be there soon enough, what do you hope they take away from that experience?
Yeah, it's incredibly timely, I think, to be dealing with these themes of prejudice, getting swept up in the news and in the moment of what's going on, and the importance of thinking critically about what's going on. And I hope that they take away. There will be plenty of opportunity when the show ends for, I think, people to really just it'll be one of those moments to just kind of sit and think and feel what just happened. And I don't want to tell people what to take away. I think the piece will kind of speak for itself in that way and lead people down a path of, oh gosh, how did this happen? How could this have happened? And I think the show also does a really good job of putting a bunch of different perspectives and characters in this scenario from all different walks of life, and people will find something that they relate to in almost every single character, whether you like it or not. There is something relevant in all different parts of the show that I think people will be thinking about that for a long time.
Yeah, Pat, you mentioned they will have their own takeaways, but maybe if it's the common thing of just reflection and thought, when you're done.
Yeah, absolutely. To Jordan's point, it's very poignant, and what he said, people are going to wonder how something like this happened. I think people are also going to wonder how things like this are still happening, even over 100 years later from when this story takes place. And even though it is, 110 years ago, it's still going to feel familiar in some ways that are uncomfortable, I think, for people.
Had a great conversation there yesterday. Parade runs the 8th through the 24th at Blackfriars. We've got more info on the theater, the tickets, showtimes with this story at rochesterfirst.com.
Get the Rochester First streaming app today for everything you love from News 8 on demand, plus exclusive shows you won't see anywhere else. Search ROC and download for free on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV.